and she took shit back. I said, no. Her husband did what he did to me, both of them actually, and she can't sing. I said that.
That she's still on you.
I'm not playing games with clowns. Like, I'm not gonna be in the circus with you, sweetheart. Like, we're not doing it ever again.
When will Tamar Braxton understand that raw talent can only take you so far without the right attitude to match? Let's be real. Tamar has been fixated on Kandi Burruss for what feels like forever. Even when Kandi hasn't said a word, Tamar somehow finds a way to drag her into the drama. She's always hinted that there's more to their feud than we've been told, but if what Jess Hilarious and Jessie Woo have been saying holds any truth, Tamar's beef with Kandi might just be rooted in plain old jealousy. Word on the street is, Tamar's been low-key bitter about the major moves Kandi's been making, especially when it comes to business and brand deals. And instead of clapping for her, Tamar seems more determined to stir up chaos in Kandi's world. But now, it looks like Kandi is officially done taking the high road. In a recent interview that had fans talking, she didn't hold back. According to Kandi, Tamar's constant chatter is coming from a place of deep insecurity, and she's been on a mission to sabotage Kandi's success ever since Celebrity Big Brother wrapped.
But since we've known her, she's been in constant beef with somebody, whether it be her own sisters or her peers in the industry.
And child, when you really look at how their careers have taken such different paths, it's not hard to understand why Kandi feels Tamar's coming from a place of bitterness and jealousy. Let's be honest, Tamar Braxton always seems to have some kind of beef brewing. It's like every other week, she's in a new feud. It's exhausting. One minute she's clashing with this person, the next she's arguing with that one. And now, she can't seem to stop mentioning Kandi's name. Like sis, if I had Tamar's voice, I'd be doing a whole lot more singing and a whole lot less talking. There's just no reason someone with her vocal talent should be caught up in this much mess. And let's be real. Everybody can't be lying on Tamar. If she's always at the center of the drama, then maybe, just maybe, she's the problem. Now, the tension between Kandi and Tamar didn't just start yesterday, and from the looks of it, it's nowhere near over. The first real spark of drama came when they were both on Celebrity Big Brother. Tamar was constantly saying that Kandi didn't like her for no reason, that she was always throwing shade backstage during the Escape tour. But according to Kandi, that's not how it went down. From her point of view, the real issue was Tamar bringing certain people backstage, people who had a history of being disrespectful to Kandi. And to Kandi, that didn't feel like a coincidence. It felt intentional.
In my marriage, I was having issues with my career. Things were like all over the place. You personally interjected yourself in the situation by talking crazy about me. But you just should have said nothing.
Okay.
Let's go on a train.
Okay. So anyway, what I was saying was, on the tour, I personally wasn't even thinking about all the stuff. I thought we was totally moved on for that.
From my perspective, it was totally, utterly disrespectful and unprofessional.
What?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Because you're not,
On Celebrity Big Brother, Kandi actually stepped up and took the high road, choosing to put their issues to rest. For a brief moment, it looked like peace had finally been restored between the two. They shared a quick, temporary kumbaya moment after the show wrapped. Kandi even extended an olive branch, inviting Tamar to be part of her dungeon tour, which was a big deal considering their rocky past. It looked like they were turning over a new leaf. But, as we all know, that truce didn't last very long.
So happy that we had the opportunity to mend our relationship. For too long, we have just been a roller coaster of emotions between the two of us. A lot of people didn't know that. And I'm just glad we were able to fix it.
But that rekindled friendship between Kandi and Tamar, it had a short shelf life before it all came crashing down again. Remember when Kandi had that fallout with TV producer Carlos King? Word got out that Carlos was allegedly working on a documentary about Escape's story without getting Kandi's permission. She was heated, and she didn't hold back. Kandi publicly called Carlos out and straight up labeled him a thief. Now, did Kandi say Tamar's name during any of that? Not once. But did Tamar pop up like Carlos rubbed a magic lamp and summoned her? Oh, absolutely.
I don't agree with her calling him a thief. You know what I mean? I think that's a little
off the deep end.
Well, what would you do if somebody tried to do this to you and your sisters? They tried to tell your story without your permission.
Okay, so here was the thing. So my sister did her biopic, right?
Okay.
And I feel like everybody else was involved, but I had nothing to do with my character, and I was in my feelings about that.
Okay.
But everybody else was involved, so that's a different kind of thing. So you really don't want nobody telling your own story.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I just feel like there are all the time unauthorized, versions of people's lives, and that's just a part of being an entertainer.
Didn't Tamar just say she was hurt that Tony didn't come to her directly about how she was portrayed in her own biopic? But now she's throwing shade at Kandi for having similar feelings? Girl, make it make sense. Let's be real. If Tamar ever found out that Carlos, or anyone for that matter, was working on a project about the Braxtons or her personal story without permission, she would have hopped off that high horse so fast, hunted them down, and made sure they regretted ever thinking about it. She would have raised hell until they apologized and shut it down. So when this situation with Carlos and Kandi popped off, most folks didn't see Tamar's reaction as defending a friend. It looked more like she was waiting for the perfect excuse to throw some shade at Kandi, and finally found her moment. Kandi stayed quiet, she didn't respond, and the drama seemed to cool off until Tamar showed up on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. That's when Tamar dropped a bomb, claiming she was threatened by a Real Housewives of Atlanta cast member and their husband, saying it almost turned physical.
It really did happen. I'm not lying. I'm not looking for attention or drama or anything like that.
Right.
But that really did happen. It was not cute. No,
Was she a full housewife?
She's a full house.
Oh my God.
It's not.
Tamar didn't drop Kandi's name during her Watch What Happens Live appearance, but the very next day, she couldn't hold back any longer. Tamar took to social media and made a post saying, "I left the situation alone, but the fact is, Kandi and Todd wanted to fight me, period." There were witnesses, and Junior came to the next show to check Todd, and she nor he would address it, because how do you defend that?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not like these other reality people. I'm a real bona fide 5-time Emmy nominated journalist. Difference. So for me, I am not comfortable publicly saying or calling someone else a liar without knowing the legitimate facts. That's where I'm standing with that. I wasn't on no, you not my friend. I don't wanna side with you. It wasn't nothing to being messy, but my responsibility for my job and my integrity just lied.
When will Tamar Braxton understand that raw talent can only take you so far without the right attitude to match? Let's be real. Tamar has been fixated on Kandi Burruss for what feels like forever. Even when Kandi hasn't said a word, Tamar somehow finds a way to drag her into the drama. She's always hinted that there's more to their feud than we've been told, but if what Jess Hilarious and Jessie Woo have been saying holds any truth, Tamar's beef with Kandi might just be rooted in plain old jealousy. Word on the street is, Tamar's been low-key bitter about the major moves Kandi's been making, especially when it comes to business and brand deals. And instead of clapping for her, Tamar seems more determined to stir up chaos in Kandi's world. But now, it looks like Kandi is officially done taking the high road. In a recent interview that had fans talking, she didn't hold back. According to Kandi, Tamar's constant chatter is coming from a place of deep insecurity, and she's been on a mission to sabotage Kandi's success ever since Celebrity Big Brother wrapped.